activities are dedicated to the service of the Lord, those very activities which cause his perpetual bondage become the destroyer of the tree of work. Please make the fan face there only. Purport: fruitive work which has perpetually engaged the living being is compared to the banyan tree in the Bhagavad Gita, for it is certainly very deeply rooted. As long as the propensity for enjoying the fruit of work is there, one has to continue the transmigration of the soul from one body or place to another according to one's nature of work. The propensity for enjoyment may be turned into the desire for serving the mission of the Lord. By doing so, one's activity is changed into karma yoga, or the way by which one can attain spiritual perfection while engaging in the work for which he has a natural tendency. Here the word Atma indicates the categories of all fruitive work. The conclusion is that when the result of all fruitive and other work is dovetailed with the service of the Lord, it will cease to generate further karma and will gradually develop into transcendental devotional service, which will not only cut off completely the root of the banyan tree of work, but will also carry the performer to the lotus feet of the Lord. The summary is that one has to first of all seek the association of pure devotees who not only are learned in the Vedanta, but are self-realized souls and unalloyed devotees of Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. In that association, the neophyte devotees must render loving service physically and mentally without reservation. This service attitude will induce the great souls to be more favorable in bestowing their mercy, which injects the neophyte with all the transcendental qualities of the pure devotees. Gradually this is developed into a strong attachment to hearing the transcendental pastimes of the Lord, which makes him able to catch up the constitutional position of the gross and subtle bodies, and beyond them, the knowledge of the pure soul and his eternal relation with the Supreme Soul, the personality of Godhead. After the relation is ascertained by establishment of the eternal relation, pure devotional service to the Lord begins gradually developing into perfect knowledge of the personality of Godhead, beyond the purview of impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. By such Purushottam Yoga, as it is stated in Bhagavad Gita, one is made perfect even during the present corporeal existence, and one exhibits all the good qualities of the Lord to the highest percentage. Such is a gradual development by association of pure devotees. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namni Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyadi Pashchate Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare evaṁ nṛṇāṁ kriyā-yogāḥ sarve saṁsṛti-hetavaḥ ta evātma-vināśāya kalpante kalpitāḥ pare. Thus, when all a man's activities are dedicated to the service of the Lord, those very activities which cause his perpetual bondage become the destroyer of the tree of work. The purport is discussing specifically about fruitive work. Fruitive work is karma, which is action which is based on Shastra, but for our enjoyment ultimately. The result is enjoyed. That is what karma is. That in English, karma is translated as fruitive work, because just like a fruit comes from a tree, you plant the tree, it grows, finally it gives a fruit, and we want the fruit. That's why we did the hard work to plant and all that. So similarly, why are we working and spending time? So we can get a result, so we can enjoy that result. That's the point. Previously, there was no question of not following Veda to get our enjoyment. People want to enjoy, so they want to work. You have to work if you want to enjoy. If you want, as Prabhupada said, like to build a skyscraper, requires so much effort and money and planning. You want to enjoy the result, so you have to work. But previously people were pious and knowledgeable. They knew what will happen if you don't follow Shastra. So better follow, but I want to enjoy, so enjoy, but according to Shastra. No question of letting go. Not one is because they're pious, some were not pious, they were just fear. Because they understood about the harsh side of material nature, which now people don't see. How material nature can be extremely punishing, they understand. Maybe they didn't accept God, at least maybe Devatas, they accepted Devatas. Or they at least knew there'll be some reactions, there's some forces are there. So better follow the plan of this world or we'll get that reaction. So due to that fear they followed. Now it's, as Bhagavad Gita says, vartate kama karataha, people acting according to their whimsical acting. People are ignorant, they don't know how this material nature can be so punishing. These wars and sufferings, disease, tsunami, now earthquake happened, some few thousand people died in some part of Asia. Just like that in one day, well 2 days, then some died later. Thousands of people died just with the earthquake. And it happens every few centuries, decades. Big population is wiped out due to some disease. You had this bubonic plague in Europe. Within a short time, huge populations were just wiped out. And then the wars. People can't understand. This material nature can be very harsh, very cruel. But they're living like children. Children are living, they're not understanding, a kid doesn't know that I have to study hard. Of course, this is the modern civilization. We don't advocate 100%. But okay, the child doesn't understand why I have to study so I can get a job, so I can get money. They can't understand, they're children. So parent has to tell them. After some time we realize, oh, I better study, better I'll do NEET, I'll do JE and all these things. Study hard like a donkey so I can get some degree, so I can enjoy, get position. So that later on they get that idea. But now people have this fairy tale idea of material world. And when it doesn't fit their mind, they get so disturbed, they get mentally disturbed. For example, now most marriages happen, people are basing their whole ideal and mind on movies, what they're seeing. Then none of them are trained to understand what's going on. So a lot of them end up so badly. So now, because people are so ignorant and can't understand, they give up Shastra. They don't understand. I have to follow Shastra. I have to follow my Varna and my ashram. I have to even get my enjoyment according to certain rules and regulations. Follow the principle. They can't understand it. So, even if someone wanted to enjoy this material world, if they followed Shastra, they were protected. They were protected. Earning money, wealth, earn wealth, but then there was the giving charity, building some thing for the public's benefit, building a temple. So the wealth stayed in the family, generations of people. And now you hear about some super millionaire, then loses the money, or his son wastes the money. This was not, you see in Vedic terms, when you had Vaishyas, the money stayed, the prosperity stayed. There was a way they got it and they had to live and then, take care of the cows, give to charity and invite sadhus. And if the sadhus were genuine, they enter the house, and just by presence of powerful sadhus, the house is purified. Just they'll enter, purify the house. There are so many pictures, even now, when Srila Prabhupada came to Nairobi in Kenya, so many of the Indian families called him. Every night they were going to a different place. People took pictures, even those days. So he'll go there and give lectures. And some of them, many of them are devotees, or their kids are devotees, even effect of Srila Prabhupada entering someone's house. Imagine how it is. So powerful. So people knew, okay, sense gratification, but I should follow Shastra. And so what will happen? They'll enjoy their sense gratification and advance and be protected somewhat, not so much, from the reaction. The reaction has to come. So why do people do karma? Here we're talking about karma yoga, karma, fruitive activity. So we said that people want to enjoy. They came to this world to enjoy. But that time they were born into the Vedic culture. The pious souls came earlier. Fallen souls come now. They didn't want Veda, so Veda has been removed. Sanatana Dharma is being removed. Temples, holy places, unmanifested. They didn't want it. So those who wanted to enjoy, they have to work hard. To enjoy, you have to work hard. Material sense gratification is hard struggle. And actually it's a myth. This is the real word, myth, not what they use for Shastra. Myth means something that doesn't exist. There is nothing like material enjoyment. It doesn't exist. It's all a software program in the mind. There is nothing. But everyone got fooled by Maya. So what is enjoying? Even if someone is enjoying food or sex or some movie, actually there's a software program in the mind thinking, okay, I'm enjoying. It's your program to think of. I'm enjoying, but this is flesh. It cannot enjoy. How can the eye enjoy a movie? It's flesh and blood. It can't. So this is a myth. There's nothing like that. But if someone is really having strong dose of Rajagun, you can't tell them. They are dedicated. Grihāvrata, which is Matina Krishna Paratah Svatova Mito Vibhadyate Grihāvrata. One who is Grihavrata, that Prabhupada translates as fully determined to enjoy this material world, making a plan, I must enjoy. Such a person, you cannot talk about Krishna consciousness. In three ways it's not possible. Matina Krishna Parata Svato Va Mito Abhibhadyat. Neither can he understand, neither can someone explain him. And the third way is neither can we make a meeting and discussion and try to explain. You cannot. Be dedicated to enjoy this world. So okay, Shastra says, okay, then do your enjoyment in a pious way. So people are born, they will do this fruitive activity because they want to enjoy. So they agree, as we said, that pious souls and higher consciousness souls understand I should follow Shastra. You should get married. If someone wants to associate with women, must get married. And if not, there will be heavy consequences. If the consequences come, of course, one is the hellish punishments. That's one. But even within married life, Prabhupada explains that if you don't get married, then one is you can't advance. Otherwise, there are samskars to be performed. Another name for wife is Sahadharmini. One who is helping you to assist, follow dharma. But if you're not going to do dharma, then what's the point of marriage? That's the whole point. People didn't understand. And I like to quote this. I heard it from a Prabhupada disciple. Such a nice quote. And this is again, if you know the farm life, then you'll understand. If you don't, then. But he said there's a saying in English, don't remove a fence if you don't know why it's there. And this idea you'll understand if you're walking in a farm, you see a fence. Who put the fence? Who put this beam? Remove it. So start walking, suddenly you see a bull charging at you 60 miles an hour. Oh, that's why they put the fence, to hold the bull. You didn't know. So now why are there so many rules and regulations in human life? They don't understand. They stopped, they removed it. But now the reactions will come very heavily. Human society, heavy reactions on men, on women, on children. But eventually we'll all suffer, isn't it? In some places in the world, let's say Africa, there are some people who come, who are good at business, they do business, earn a lot of money, but the population is not, so they remain in poverty. Oh, that's their problem. My problem is I have to take care, become rich and get educated, my children have to. But now what ends up happening, they're poor, they don't have money, they become criminals, they attack you, they attack your children, and create a big problem of security. So we realize this is not my problem, it's everyone's problem. So everyone should be following, and it's our responsibility to bring other people. Otherwise, everyone will suffer. I mean, this is a lesson for materialists. So anyway, those who are pious, they'll follow dharma, and they'll enjoy according to Shastra. And better don't enjoy, that's better. If you study Shastra, you'll understand there is nothing like material enjoyment. If we don't understand, then what happens? Is that okay? Try to enjoy. So we try, and after some time you realize, oh, it's not there. This is not enjoyment. So they came to that realization of the other one who thought better don't do any of these things, better just remain in a renounced life and practice bhakti. But the other one who said, no, we want to enjoy. So you enjoy, but you come to that point and you come to the same realization as this person who got it by studying Bhagavatam and hearing. He got it. So then, okay, someone goes through it and understood that this is a myth. Bhagavad Gita says that. And Uddhav Gita. What is suffering? Suffering comes when we seek material enjoyment. Some intellectuals, they figure this out in the West. I heard one saying, ask yourself if you're happy and you cease to be so. If you start asking, am I happy? Immediately your happiness will go. Don't ask, just work, continue. If you ask, am I happy? Means, okay, I know, so let me seek happiness. Oh, that's your problem will start now. Just do your duty. Just follow your duty.
Is this stoicism?
I don't know is it? Maybe. Some philosophy. Yeah, so now, as the purport says, that fruitive work runs deep. If you say, okay, no, I'll enjoy. This is not a shallow thing in the mind, but it forms deep roots that bind you, that, okay, now become a sense enjoyer. We are giving you Rajagun injection, now do it. And now you cannot avoid now. If you start, it becomes very deep, and the next life, and deeper and deeper and deeper, it grows. These are called vasan. Vasan means that I enjoyed sense gratification and I remember that experience, and that experience memory is in my mind and I want it again. Vasan. And samskar is any action you do makes a mark, a samskar, and then that samskar makes us want to do it again. Why? Because of the vasan. Vasana. So this fruitive work, it says here in the purport, runs very deep, like a deeply rooted tree, like a banyan tree. Banyan tree goes the roots go very down, it's impossible to remove. Any city that's abandoned, immediately the banyan trees come and take over from the edge of the city. So now in the, it runs deep and it keeps reminding you to enjoy and impels you, pushes you to enjoy. And if you enjoy a certain way, then this vasan and these gunas, they'll maybe in the way that you enjoy, they'll push you into an animal body, then force you to act in that way because of my past association. So actually there's something mentioned here. It says that tree, it's talking about the tree of work. Here, it's just saying Atma in the shloka. Prabhupada translated as tree of work. And in the translation, it's talking about how karma binds, but karma yoga uproots the tree of work. And we are supposed to understand what is tree of work. If someone, like if you read the Upanishads, there's a lot of mention of this tree of work. And it comes in Bhagavad Gita chapter 15, Purushottam Yoga. Many times in the Vedas, they use analogies to explain deep points, which we can't understand. Now we understand that a tree grows from a seed, and the tree grows, and what will nourish it? Water. So water and the food from the soil nourishes the tree. It will grow and grow stronger, and if you just leave it, it will grow stronger. If you want to remove it now. No, let it grow. Okay, then you cannot remove it. It reaches a point where even you can't destroy it. Even if you cut it, will grow. But as farmers know, and people who are in gardening, that if a tree is so big and powerful, you can't cut it, you can't destroy it. Because if you cut it, it will grow again. Then you have to hit the middle. Hit it again, then the jiva goes. Destroy the center of the trunk. Just hit it. Then the jiva goes. Otherwise, it will keep going. So, analogy of the deeply rooted tree is there in Bhagavad Gita, Urdhva Moolam Ada Shakha Ashvatta Prahur Avyayam. It will not go. You'll take birth again, that tree is there. Binding. Ashvatta Prahur Avyayam. Chandansi Yasya Parnani Yastam Veda Savedavit. One who knows the tree actually knows Shastra. Vedanta, philosophy, is meant for removing this tree. I was speaking about this once in Africa. After some time, asked me, where's this tree? You understand, there's no tree. It's an analogy. Analogy about a tree, some ideas there. So, the idea is like this, that this tree is growing upside down, coming. So, when we first come to this material world, we come as Brahma. Brahma is not so much bound up. Still, he has high degree of knowledge, a higher consciousness. He can easily contemplate Vedic knowledge and get liberated. Brahma can do that. So we also, at the beginning of the tree, the trunk, it's not so implicated. It's the beginning, that roots are not deep. But if we decide, no, I want to enjoy sense gratification, so then we become deeper. The guna enters deep into our consciousness, rajagun, tamagun, and the desire to enjoy becomes more, and we want to enjoy more. This is how it works. For one who goes on that path, it's a gliding down, unless you're in Vedic culture. So the tree got more deep and grew more, and then it becomes many branched. After some time, one can't understand, as it says in the third verse, we can't understand where the tree is starting and where it ended. We just lose track. Brahma would have had some level of Brahma Gyan. But after some time, we are just born like a little worm is born. This worm cannot understand that now I am born here, and what is the goal? I have to get liberated. The worm won't understand that. He's in the middle of the tree. So if you're in the middle of the tree, you can't see where is it starting, where is it ending, where is the end, where is the beginning. In a banyan tree, if you're in the middle there, you cannot see anything. And it becomes many more branched. As you go, the branches get more and more and more. As you go up in the tree, you see it becomes like this, much more, much more. So then the tree is getting more and more deeper. Then the verse explains, okay, some will be in Vedic culture, but they'll be so much attached to the Vedic meters, chanting, the Vedic culture, the Brahminical life. They get attached to that, not to the liberation. So this is explaining that they got attached to the leaves of the tree. The leaves, they're part of the tree. They also look nice, but that's not the goal. We are supposed to come out of the tree, but they got attached to the tree. So these are people, they're born in Vedic culture, they got attached to that, but they're not cutting off the tree. So it goes on to explain that the twigs are the objects of the senses. The branches at the end have twigs. And again, if you get attached to that, then it goes on. The tree goes more and more, going down. So now, these roots of the tree, they go down and they are bound to fruitive actions. What is nourishing the tree? Karma. Karma is nourishing the tree. The more I want to enjoy, then I get more bound to this material world. Not only that, every action of karma I do blocks my consciousness more and more and more. I then lose all idea of me being separate from the body. I get much more attached to the body. Every karmic activity we do. And this explained, this is the effect of lust. So coverings of lust are described in Bhagavad Gita chapter 3. How did it start? Dhumena-vrito vahnir. That just like fire is covered by smoke. And that covering is not so much. You can still see the fire. So some, like this human body, yes, we are covered, but you can still see he's conscious. He's a conscious being because it's not a deep covering. Dhumena-vrito vahnir. Yatha darsho malena cha. Then another covering is how the mirror is covered with dust. When the dust is so covered, you cannot see through the mirror. That covering is a lot. Therefore, and so likewise, the animals are covered. They are covered by because of so much lust and sense gratification. Their covering became so much that even a certain religion says they have no soul. They almost look like, you can't tell because it's so covered. They're not like humans. Ulben avarto garbhas. Then the way an embryo is covered by what is it? Womb. So that covering is so much you cannot even see the embryo. So that is the plants. Plants, Prabhupada explained, extreme lust means one takes birth as a plant. And those who don't wear anything, walking without wearing anything. Prabhupada said they'll get ample opportunity not to wear anything for thousands of years, for hundreds of years. So in this way, the more one associates with karma, the more the tree becomes strongly rooted. And then you lose all idea that there's a beginning of this tree, we have to cut it, nothing. So the roots are attached to this karmic activity. And as this verse says, this causes perpetual bondage. Now you can imagine somebody understanding this says, I have to get out of here, I have to come out, I have to stop. So this realization, this is Vedanta. But how many people come to this level? Are they in the Vedas? They in Karma Kand? Well, they're in the Veda, that is a good thing today. They're not even in Vedic culture. Means there's no movement at all. But if someone comes to this understanding, this is Vedanta. Anta, this is the end of the Vedas. But some people are in the Vedas, they don't understand this is the goal. That knowledge is lost. In Bhagavata 5th canto, there, Rishabhadev's teaching, he explains what is success. Para bhavastava abodha jata yava na jigyasata atma tattvam. One who lives this life and quits it without having realized the self, life is a failure. It's a failure. All a waste. I studied hard, I got money, I enjoyed, I satisfied society, family, but I didn't realize the self. It's a failure. I'll again enter womb, 8 months upside down in a womb and suffer. And then childbirth. And again, you have to accumulate material knowledge, again accumulate money, go through the whole cycle. It's a failure. Then how to stop that? Yavan shaya stavat idam manovai karmatmakam yena sharira bandha. Hint is given. As long as there are material desires in our consciousness, then it's called karmatmakam. That is like color. Like water which is clear, is transparent. But if there's some impurity, there's a color. So that is called a colored mind, consciousness. Yavan shreya stavat idam manovai karmatmakam yena sharira baddha. That will lead to bondage. So now if someone understands this, they'll give up work. Or better than that, actually it's better, initially at least. Change the nature of the work. From karma, come to karma yoga. For that we have to understand what is work, what is bondage, what is the result. Otherwise, people will not even follow any rules and regulations like it is today. People have given up taking bath, people have given up offering food, people have given up marriage. They gave up everything because of not understanding how to bring them on this level. Actually, government doesn't know. People are like in these countries, even the hippies and all this, they couldn't understand what to do. But Prabhupada explained, you have to educate, you have to tell them these points. Before even speaking, we have to raise their consciousness, or they'll not listen. Once we went for a program That was somewhere in Nairobi, years ago. It was a kind of rough area and Christian. And so someone gave a class, I was not a brahmachari. He gave the class and people became very, not violent, but a little aggressive, shouting. They didn't agree with the philosophy. They, what kind of philosophy? They were arguing and all that. And there was a Russian devotee initiated there. He said that the speaker should have done kirtan. If he did kirtan, people become pacified, the guna changes, then when you speak, they listen. Therefore we have Jaya Radha, Madhava. Come to some clarity to receive Brahma Gyan. Otherwise, you'll challenge. This is my philosophy. What about this? What about that? So, they'll not even accept the Gyan. Now if you go out and speak to these people, they're eating meat, associating with women, then you try to speak. But this, for mass purification, Srila Prabhupada advocated prasad distribution and harinams. This will change the consciousness of people. Of course, now while doing that, even people change. Then you can give a book, they'll take it. I saw that personally. Now I was in a country which is in Africa, so it's not Vedic culture. Now how can you speak about that? So whenever I go book distribution, there's a big challenge. Big challenge. They look at the tilak, then they look at the cloth. Why are you like this? Why are you shaving your head? Why are you that? And listen, I'm selling a book. Listen, look at the book. No. First tell me, why are you like this? And we have our belief, our gods. This is not our gods. They'll speak so many things. But on Rath Yatra, we give so many books. If you go in front of the Rath, they're looking at the Rath, they're looking, who's that? Staring at the Rath, Jagannath. And then after some time, I'm hearing two people talking. Prabhupada is also there. And one is telling the other, hey, I'm looking at that person, he's not moving at all. You know that? Is something okay? Is he okay? I know, that's a murti. Why you put the murti? Oh, this is the founder of the movement, he did this, he did that. Now they're listening to me. Before that, they're looking at Jagannath. And then if you come and take the book, who is that? That is God. And that is his brother. And this, his sister. Take a book, okay. Completely different. Completely different. They're hearing heavy kirtan, they sing devotee, that's spiritual. We give so many books. Very different. Therefore in Harinam we give. So here the point is that if someone is in so much consciousness of enjoying, it's difficult to accept Brahma Gyan. But you have to explain gradually. Karmic activity, what is the result? No, you have to unite it to God. Now if someone understands this, then they'll begin karma yoga. And of course this is what in Bhagavad Gita, that is the whole idea. That Krishna is telling Arjuna, there's a difference between karma and karma yoga. If you do karma yoga, you're not implicated, you're not bound, don't worry. Because there were different reasons he didn't want to fight. One was sinful reaction. There's no sinful reaction in karma yoga. So you can do it. So gradually that knowledge comes. And by coming to this Gyan, level of knowledge, and how do you come to Gyan? One is if you happen to meet someone, they'll tell you. Another is if you suffer a lot. Suffering gives Gyan. Have you noticed? When we suffer, we want to advance. It's a good thing. When people say, why I'm suffering, God is allowing suffering. It's to bring us to Him. So this suffering condition. Now Prabhupada writes there's a whole cycle. Prabhupada writes here in the purport, the summary of this, because the whole explanation is coming about Narad Muni's life, and he explained. And now at the end of that, Narad Muni is giving Gyan like this. So now the summary is that one has to seek association of pure devotees who not only are learned in Vedanta, but are self-realized and unalloyed devotees of Lord Krishna. So they have to know Vedanta. And really you cannot know Vedanta unless you are a devotee, because Shankara followers learn Vedanta. And as Prabhupada says, nowadays when you speak Vedanta, people assume this is Shankara followers speaking about that. They don't see even that others wrote commentaries. Because he was there for so many 100 years, it was Shankara who commented and everyone accepted that as Vedanta. So Vedanta means breaking this tree of work, cutting the tree of work, which later explained in 15th chapter of Gita, how to cut the tree. The way to cut is through jnana and detachment, knowledge and detachment, which means knowledge, because knowledge will give detachment. It's because of knowledge we stop material sense gratification. That knowledge, it can come through suffering. People who have seen the harsh side of material nature, they don't want to engage in it. No, wait, I don't have anything to do with this material nature. I want to come out. Come out in the sense, not you can renounce everything, or come out in the sense, I don't want to, there's a word in English, consort. You know, many times material energy is compared to a woman. And Prabhupada said, like, you try to embrace, like the donkey trying to approach and is getting kicked. So approaching the female donkey, gets kicked finally when he enjoys, but he's full of wounds and blood. So one understands, this is the result of my consorting with Maya. I don't want, because it's coming with a heavy price. I don't want to pay that price. Fine, I'm not going to consort. So what is the alternative? Alternative is, you can live in this material world with material nature, but you can be associated with Krishna fully. Even it says here in this purport, even while in this corporeal existence. Corporeal pertains to flesh. Flesh, I still have a material body, but still you're liberated. You can be in this material world, in a material body, liberated if you change your whole approach, how you're using the material energy. So as Prabhupada says, associate with devotees who are learned in Vedanta, who know how to cut the tree. And they are self-realized souls or unalloyed devotees of Lord Krishna. In that association, the devotees must render loving service physically and mentally without reservation. In beginning there will be reservation. We'll do service little. Gradually we'll become more and then fully surrendered, we'll do the service. But Prabhupada says here, this service attitude will induce great souls to be more favorable in bestowing their mercy. So we are serving Prabhupada's movement. Supposing we serve unreservedly, then Prabhupada, here it says, actually Prabhupada is saying that it will induce the great souls, Prabhupada or Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, to inject the neophyte with transcendental qualities of pure devotees. I don't have devotee qualities, but I'm serving the devotee. Prabhupada says, it will, if you're serving them, they become favorable, they become happy. It says they inject you with transcendental qualities of pure devotees. Simply associate with devotees who are serving, and we get their qualities. Gradually this is developed into a strong attachment to hearing pastimes of the Lord. We may not have that attachment in the beginning, it's difficult. But Srinvatam Sukata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtan, that desire, when we get it, desire to hear, that purifies. Later on it says, how to get the desire. Mahatsevam Dvara Mahor Vimuktes. By serving great devotees, it opens the door to liberation. This makes him catch up the constitutional position of the gross and subtle body, beyond them the knowledge of the pure soul and his eternal relation with the Supreme Soul. We begin to realize our relation with God. Actually we know it, but we cannot act on it because we didn't realize. Not realizing means we still have other plans which we have not managed to persuade our intelligence, our mind. Don't enjoy, don't do this. Come and attend the program, chant, all this. We still could not convince the intelligence in mind. So mind comes up with other plans. But realization means sarva saṁsṛti, all doubts are gone. Asaṁsṛayam samagram. Full engagement, no doubt. How? By realizing the knowledge. So this is what it means. Okay, I got realization. This is what I have to do. I have to do it firmly. So, someone came for class. Look, we are preaching, cats are coming. Youth are not coming. Students are not coming. Cats are coming. After the relation, Bhakti-Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that our relation with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the hint is given after Anartha Nivritti. After we overcome Anartha, some hint is given. So it says here, after the relation is ascertained, our relation to God, by establishment of the eternal relation, pure devotional service to the Lord begins gradually developing into perfect knowledge. And we have a certain relation, so a certain rasa, so it develops knowledge of the personality of Godhead beyond the purview of impersonal Brahman. In other words, Prabhupada says here, Purushottam Yoga. Where we read that word? Chapter 15 of Gita is speaking about this, breaking the tree and connecting to the Supreme. It says in that last word, Etad buddha buddhiman syat kritakritascha bhava. If you understand this knowledge, you'll become perfect. Knowledge of how to connect to the Purushottam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it's stated in the Bhagavad Gita, one is made perfect even in the present corporeal existence. Even now, in this material body, I become liberated. In the sense, material nature is not touching me. Guna doesn't touch you. So first thing, what happens when you come out of guna, we become very happy. But that is not that Brahmananda. It is not that real spiritual bliss, that Anand. But when Maya withdraws, automatically we become so happy, because we are not this guna is what gives us the material desires. It's not there anymore. So I don't have material desire, because material desire means you have to fulfill, but we can never fulfill them. So now I'm miserable. I have desire, I cannot fulfill. Now I'm so miserable. But no more desires. So then we become happy. This is the first happiness. Second is when we come in contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no other way to be happy. Not by material nature. Not by consorting with Maya. It cannot be. Of course, that will take time. Even the speaker knows that. It takes time to realize. Otherwise, we keep trying to do that. After some time, one exhibits the good qualities of the Lord to the highest percentage. So as we get bhakti, as we get purified, we get all good qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such is the gradual development by association of pure devotees. End of purport. Bhakti Vedantas. Narad Muni associated with them. Look at the result. And as Prabhupada says in Nectar of Instruction, therefore we have opened the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, so everyone can take advantage of association, even if you're a cat. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any question? Srila Prabhupada ki jai.